Figment is a new platformer for the Xbox Live indie game service. It stars Sylph and Aranha, two make-believe characters dreamt up by a little boy as they venture into his dreamland to rescue him from an evil, mysterious, dark power. The game opens with a neatly drawn graphic-style intro detailing the kidnapping. From there, the heroes can either go solo or cooperatively into the dreams to recover the boy. Once in the game, players are greeted with a beautifully hand-drawn world. In addition to these beautiful graphics setting the game apart from most other indie games, is the fact that it's also an action platformer where Sylph and Aranha can both battle enemies with energy blasts and kicks. Each character has a different moveset. Sylph, the male character, lacks a double jump but is more powerful. Aranha has a double jump, which comes in handy in the game world with its cheap deaths and many platforms, and is a much faster character and easier to use for beginners. I started out as Sylph and I was unable to make it past the 15-minute mark in the game because, much like old school NES platformers like Mega Man 2, Figment is very challenging. Enemies won't necessarily be the bane of your existence, but the many one-hit platforms and pitfalls will be. And when trying to expertly guide timed platforming jumps, enemies will knock you down over and over again, leading to your death. This is where Aranha's double jump will come in to save you many times and keep you from throwing your controller against the wall. Speaking of enemies, they're similar to any type of enemy found in a platformer game. But this is where Figment jumps in with its unique dream world and adds a little flavor to them by revealing that each enemy is actually just another figment of the little boy's dream world, whereas flying bat enemies may turn into army men paratroopers, or the rabid dogs that looked hopped up on rabies will turn into little plushy puppies. The whole idea of this being a little child's dream really shines through the graphics and these little touches that make Figment go just one step further than the average platformer. It's just too bad that the music couldn't match the art style. The flute or piccolo music played throughout remains unchanged except for when you face boss battles. Boss battles are an interesting affair that require just as much brains as they do brawn. The first one will require players to time out their jumps to dodge two football players before they knock themselves out against the wall for a limited chance to attack. While Figment may seem like a great dream, there are some nightmarish parts. First off, the game can be utterly and just devastatingly frustrating. There are no save points, only checkpoints, and often the checkpoints will start you back way before your death. Players have to complete the roughly 45-minute game in one sitting. The short length actually is a positive for the game because any longer without a save point would have surely drove me nuts. It's frustrating because you die, and you die a lot. Anyone who thinks Mega Man 2 is a breeze or battled through NES classics back in the day will have no trouble whatsoever with Figment. I, on the other hand, am not quite so good at platformers. One-hit killing pits and ceiling spikes just don't do it for me. And while co-op is a nice addition for any game, those who have to play as Sylph are going to be way more frustrated than if they were playing as Aranha. He just lacks the control precision and the double jump, which will save you from instant deaths many a time in this adventure. There's much to love about Figment, and it is a unique platformer. If you can handle the one-hit deaths and have braved these kind of games before, then you'll be right at home with the challenge. I, for one, am definitely in love with the game world, and it is one of the better looking indie platformers available on the Xbox 360. Luckily, the short romp through Dreamland makes it easier to beat the game and anxiously await for the developer's next project, which is supposed to be an RPG. Those who purchase the 80 Microsoft point, or in other words, the $1 game, can look forward to free updates with new levels, bosses, and moves in the future. I don't recommend the game to anybody who is turned off by a high challenge, but developer Tempula Studios is certainly on the right track as an indie developer. I give Figment a 3.4 out of 5, and I look forward to their next project.